The craziest food I ever had. It was pretty weird once eating a chicken head. So the eyeballs were still in it. They just threw it in a soup. I think it would have to be in Nueva Santa Rosa. I remember the rain will just come like that. And when it rains there, it pours. That saying comes from other parts of the world or something, but it really happens. Like, I remember it was around lunchtime. I want to say it was a Sunday. My companion and I had just gotten home for lunch or to go to the bathroom or something, and I remember just looking at one part of the sky, and it was blue skies, totally clear, and you could see like a direct, super easy to see line of just black clouds that were moving really fast. And as it got close, you could see a line, like just a wall of rain that just came really fast, so you could like run away from the rain and be dry, and then back there it's just getting totally soaked with water, and it comes down hard, that rain. The drops are really big. That was probably some of the craziest weather, and with all that rain comes tons of lightning, so the lightning storms there are intense and they're awesome. I learned how to live on very little, and I would say that is a skill. I learned how to live comfortably and happily with like the bare minimum sometimes. Not the bare minimum, but way less than we're used to, if that makes sense. Like less food, because there's less food there, to be honest, and there's just not as much money. I learned to live on just way less possessions, you know, just a bed. If you got a bed, you got the scriptures, got clothes on your back, and we got food going in, we're great. So I think I learned just to be really happy and content living with not much, I think. So I remember I was in the MTC in Guatemala, and so we use the word embarrassed, and there's a word in Spanish that's embarazada, and that they sound like they would be the same, and there's a lot of words that sound the same, like patience and paciencia, it's the same. And so I figured, oh, this must be another one of those. And so I went up to, or I said something wrong, and then I added to that wrong thing that I said in a class, I believe it was, and I said, estoy embarazada, which I thought I was saying, I'm embarrassed. But actually what that means is I'm pregnant. And so that was wrong. That was very embarrassing. And everyone had a real good laugh about that. There's tons of dogs in Guatemala. Like, they're all over the streets. They're just wild. They're like wild wolf packs. Just that they don't attack people so much. They eat trash and stuff like that. But you will get your occasional crazy dog. I have not been bitten nearly as much as other companions of mine. I was lucky. But you do need to be careful with the dogs. There's a lot that will bite you. I remember one night, I've only been bitten like twice. But I remember the first time I ever got bit, I was so surprised because this dog looked so nice. Went up to the door, knocked on it. We were looking for a person. Wasn't there, and the dog was just chill, like looking at us. And it was dark also, like really dark. There was no lights there. And but we could tell, you know, there's the dog saw us and whatnot. But as we were walking away, this dog just really silently snuck up on me and grabbed my thigh and just bit me right on my thigh. And I reacted really fast and he let go, but I was just like, did you really just bite me, dude? What are you thinking? So yes, the dogs will bite you. Be careful with the dogs. Usually, good tip. Don't try to like kick them or punch them or something. Just take off your backpack. That's your best weapon. It's your backpack. It's got a pretty good distance. You can get some good range on that if you swing that around. So yeah. This is just picking one hard experience. You know how it is on the mission. There's lots, but they're wonderful. But one hard experience that I had was that I was in my second area. I'd been out on my mission for about 9 months, and you have a camera, and I didn't take a lot of pictures, honestly, but the pictures I took were really special to me, and they meant something to me, and that's why I took them. And so I had all my pictures from my first area, all my pictures from the MTC, with all the great friends you make there, with the teachers and everything. And as we had transfers, we left Santa Rosa. It's like a 3-hour bus ride to the capital city where we get our new companion. And I remember my companion who was leaving the area, he like didn't have, his camera wasn't working or I don't remember what, but I ended up giving him my memory card to take pictures with, if I'm not mistaken. And anyway, in a transfer of memory cards in the bus, I lost it. And I was so sad. I was seriously so bummed. It sounds pathetic, but I was so sad that I lost all those pictures that meant so much to me. And like right at that time, one of our converts, she lost something a lot bigger and a lot more important than that, and it was her husband. She and him, like at 1 o'clock in the morning, were asleep, and to make a long story short, I think he owed somebody some money, and they came in and killed him in front of his wife. And they took his life. And so in that time of my mission, I just felt really kind of overwhelmed by so many things, because it wasn't just her that was going through hard things. We had so many other investigators and members going through just really hard things. And I felt awful that I felt bad at all about some stupid pictures when they were dealing with things that were just so much bigger than that. And so I learned to use the atonement more in my life and apply it, and first to my life and then to help others do the same. That was a really big learning experience for me. It was really hard. It really was. I felt really sad on the inside. Like, I tried to be really happy and help people feel the love of Christ and the joy of the gospel, but on the inside I felt really sad a lot of the time. And I felt like I wasn't progressing. Just in vulnerable moments, Satan usually always comes and adds more to what is already difficult. So that was a really hard time for me, but I learned to put my trust more in God and to be more thankful for what I do have, and to let go more of material things, if that makes sense. Like, I learned to care just so much more about what is spiritual and about what really matters. That was one big hard thing that I was able to learn. The gospel of Jesus Christ is true. For me, that was my biggest life lesson. That everything that we represent, everything that you represent as a missionary is true. And for me, like, nothing else really matters. That's kind of, it is the most important thing to know in this life. And the rest of our decisions, the rest of what we do, will be based off of that knowledge and be based off of our faith in that. I know that's a really vague response. I don't know if you're looking for that, but I feel that is one of the biggest things that I was able to learn from my mission.